Welcome to session number 1 in C programming language. In this session, we are going to discuss C programming language. C is a programming language, and when we talk about programming language, I want to first let you know what is programming. Basically, programming means writing instructions for the computer. I would say writing or creating softwares. Writing or creating software, writing or creating program is called as a programming. Programming means simply writing or creating programs. We know program is also called as a software, is also called as a application, and there are so many different types of softwares nowadays we are using. For example, there are different types of operating systems we are using. Okay, there are different types of operating system like Windows operating system. Okay, so many versions are there: Windows 98, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8. Right now Windows 10 okay is coming. Next is Mac OS, Linux, Unix. So many operating systems are there, and we are using some kind of operating systems, and they are nothing but they are programs, they are softwares. It is some kind of application. Next, we use some kind of application programs. We use some kind of end user softwares, just like Notepad, okay, WordPad. We use some kind of applications such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. These are all examples of application softwares. We use some kind of web applications today. So many web applications are there. Web applications or web services which are used on the network environment on the client server architecture. Some kind of client server applications which are installed on server used by a client. Nowadays we are also using some kind of mobile applications. We are using some kind of mobile applications also. Okay, basically Android is the operating system used in mobile. Symbian is the operating system used in a mobile. Okay, WhatsApp, Facebook, so many mobile applications are there, and we use them in different mobile phones under different platforms. So I want to say here we are learning a programming language. C is a programming language. Okay, here we are talking about C programming language. C is a programming language, and when we discussed about programming language, we have to first define what is programming and why programming is required, why programming is needed, why programming. Programming means writing or creating programs. Programs are also called as software or applications. There are so many different types of softwares, so many different types of applications or programs are available. In general, I would say that a program or a software is nothing but it is a set of instructions given to the computer for doing some particular task. See, all of these are examples of softwares or programs. Maybe operating systems, application softwares, compilers, databases, web applications, mobile applications. These are all different types of programs, different types of softwares, different types of applications which we use to perform some specific tasks. So here a program or application can be of different types, and a program is nothing but, in simple words, I would say it is a set of instructions given to a computer for doing some particular task. Some set of instructions are written in files and it is given to the computer, and these instructions tell the computer how to do the work, how to process the data, how to carry out the instructions, and how to display the output in the form you want. So this is nothing but it is a software or it is a program. Now we are interested to create program or to develop an application. And to develop an application, we have to write some set of instructions, and these instructions can be written using some language called as C language. So that's why we use a programming language. We use a programming language for writing instructions, for writing some programs, for creating some applications. So in short, I would say programming languages are medium. Programming languages are mediums or a tool. Programming language is a tool which can be used to write or create a program, which is nothing but it is a set of instructions given to the computer for doing some particular task. Now we would like to perform some task, and for that task we are going to write some instruction, and that is what is known as a programming. So basically C language is the most frequently used language for writing system software such as operating system, compilers, and also it can be used widely for developing application softwares. The C language is the most frequently used language for writing system software such as operating system, compilers, and it is also widely used for developing application softwares. Now, why programming? What is the purpose of programming? The purpose of programming, because the purpose of programming is computer cannot understand our native language. Okay, we know that computer cannot understand our native languages like English, French, Chinese, Hindi, etc. It will only understand the binary language, the machine language. And as humans, we cannot understand the binary so easily. It is not possible so easily to learn the binary language and instruct the computer using binary language. So, a programmer needs to learn a programming language to develop an application. So, whenever you want to develop an application, whenever you want to create a software, we have to use some kind of programming languages. And when an application is executed, data is entered into that application and the application generates some output. And as a developer, when you are supposed to write an application, when you are supposed to create a software or program, you have to instruct the computer to perform an action as per the needs. And to instruct the computer, we have to use programming. We have to learn programming languages. Basically, there are so many programming languages. There are so many different types of programming languages which are used, mostly from 1950. There are so many programming languages which were developed for creating different types of applications. For example, there was one programming language called as BASIC, COBOL, Fortran, Formula Transmission, Pascal. So many languages were there. And these languages were actually used to perform some specific software, to develop some specific software. BASIC means beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code, which were used to write some basic applications. COBOL means common business oriented language, which was used to write some business applications. Fortran means formula transmission. It is used to solve some engineering related problems. It is used to develop some mathematical type of applications. It is used to solve only scientific and mathematical type of operations. Pascal is nothing but combination of some programming languages, and it was also used to develop some basic application software. Apart from these languages, there was one more language called as BCPL, Basic Computer Programming Language, BCPL, and there was one more language which was known as only B language. It is known as B language. So we have to understand one point here. The language C is derived from the earlier B language. There was one B language and the C language was derived from B language. So the name is given to that language is C language. Now what was the problem in these languages? These languages were not general purpose programming languages. C is a general purpose programming language. Today C has a major impact on most of the languages today like C#, Java and so on. It is having a major impact on today's languages, because it is a general purpose programming language. It is a general purpose programming language. It can be used for developing system software as well as application software. So we say that it is a general purpose programming language. We can use this language to develop application softwares, operating systems, compilers. So many types of applications we can develop using C language. Nowadays we can also develop a mobile application using C and C++. Most of the database vendors, they have written their native libraries using C and C++ only. Okay, now we'll discuss the benefits and applications of C. But right now we have to understand there were so many different languages in the history. Basic, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal. BCPL was the former language. B was derived from BCPL and C was derived from B language. Basically there are two types of programming, system programming and application programming. System program which are between OS and hardware like operating system, device drivers and so on. And application program means the program which lie between user and operating system. For example, notepad, calculator, paintbrush. Okay, so many companies are nowadays using some invoicing systems. Okay, in our MKCL center also we are using some software called as Biz Client. So that a Biz Client is an application program which lie between user and operating system. So many different types of applications are there. So many different types of system softwares are there. Two types of programming are there. C is suitable for both types of programming. Using C we can develop system softwares. We can develop application software. Basically the main intention was C language. In 1972 it was developed. Okay, C language was developed in 1972, and the main initiative, the main purpose of developing or inventing the C language is to develop Unix operating system. To develop Unix operating system, C was introduced. The only purpose of C was C was introduced to develop Unix operating system. For the development of an operating system called as Unix, C was first introduced and later people started using this language for developing nearly all types of softwares because of its advantages. Now, why we are learning C language? What are the job roles and employment opportunities for the students? Okay, after learning C language. Now, first thing is here, C is a basic. C is a fundamental. In C, we learn the fundamental concepts of programming. So, first thing, it will help to understand the next generation languages, the newer languages like Java, C# and so on. So, first thing, you can consider this as a foundation. Learning the fundamentals of programming, we use C language. But most of the leading IT companies today, they are having great opportunities for skillful C programmers to develop operating systems, to develop different types of embedded systems. Okay, mostly many leading companies, many IT or information technology organizations are having some opportunities. They are providing some opportunities for C programmers. Mostly the motor vehicle companies, the electronic industries often use professionals with C language. They develop so many different types of softwares and programs using C language. Even information and communication industries also recruit well-trained C professionals. In so many embedded departments, so many embedded systems, C language is used. So to be proficient in C language will help to grab such kind of opportunities. Apart from C programming, if you possess some skills on Unix, Linux, C++, okay, you would be eligible for some positions like operating system developers, system analyst, game developers. Okay, so many opportunities are there. Okay, after learning C and C++, okay, we can work as a developer who design and write programs as per the requirements of the system analyst. System analysts are actually responsible for designing computer information systems, modifying systems to improve production work, and expanding systems to serve new purposes. Also, some game developers primarily develop some 2D computer games using C and C++ only. So, lots of opportunities are there, lots of job roles are there. After learning C and C++, we would be proficient in programming. Now, what are the applications developed by using C language? First of all, Unix operating system. Basically, the main intention of development of C was to develop Unix operating system. Unix operating systems are widely used in servers and workstations also. So many DirectX, so many gaming applications were developed, some APIs were developed using C and C++. So many DirectX applications such as games are developed using C and C++. Actually, DirectX is an application program interface for creating and managing graphic images and also multimedia effects in applications such as games or active web pages that will run in Microsoft Windows operating system. And to develop such kind of applications, we can make use of C language. Okay, and these kind of application programs can be written using C, maybe Visual C, Visual C++, or Java also. So some references are given here. For more details, you can just go to these kind of references, and you may find different benefits of C. Not only Unix, but Windows, Linux, these operating systems are also written using C and C++. And even today's most popular Linux OS, the RDBMS MySQL software are also written using C language. And most importantly, today many languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp and many more are derived from C. They are having the same syntax as of C. Okay, that will make us very easier to learn these further languages. So here we are talking about the benefits of C. Here we are talking about the benefits of C. Okay, I told you C was initially introduced to develop Unix operating system, and not only Unix. Okay, Windows, Linux, so many operating systems are written in C language. Even the most popular Linux operating system, the RDBMS MySQL software, is also written using C language. And not only these operating systems, but we can develop language compilers, assemblers, text editors, print spoolers, network drivers, some modern programs, databases, so many utilities we can develop using C and C++. Now this is the hierarchy, or this is the history of C. Basically the origin of C was BCPL language, which was developed in 1967 by Martin Richards. Martin Richards developed basic computer programming language in 1967, and Ken Thompson written another language in 1970 which was called as B language. And derived from BCPL and B language, Dennis Ritchie, okay, the inventor of the C language, who developed another language, and it was named as a C language. Right now you can see C language have major impact on Java and C Sharp also. Even these today's languages, Java, C Sharp and so many languages, they are derived from C itself. Okay, so what is the history of C? Basic Combined or Basic Computer Programming Language, BCPL, is a computer programming language designed by Martin Richards of Cambridge University in 1966 to 67. And later B was developed by Bell Labs. Okay, Ken Thompson in Bell Labs developed B language, which was derived from the BCPL. And B is a programming language which has some complexities. Okay, so remove those complexities. Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson was improved B language at AT&T's Bell Lab, and then in 1972 a new language is developed, and that language they called as a C language. They called the new language C, and it can be used on various types of computers. The programming language of C was really convinced to be used on the operating system of Unix. Initially, C was only used for writing applications to run on Unix operating system only, but right now on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, different formats, different platforms, we use the C language to write application programs. Nowadays it is compatible with many other operating systems because it is one of the most widespread programming language. It is a well-known, most favorite programming language. the most successful type of programming language was C language. Now what is exactly C? C is a programming language. It is a structured and a procedure oriented programming language, and also it is a general purpose programming language, most powerful, flexible, which can be used for a variety of applications from business programs to engineering programs, from application softwares to system softwares, from databases to compilers. So many different types of softwares can be created using C language. C language is particular for a popular language for programmers of PCs basically, because it is relatively small and requires less memory than other languages. So mostly for personal computers, we use C language to develop different types of softwares. Many versions of the Unix based operating systems are written only in C language. Okay, and of course Windows, Linux, these operating systems are also developed primarily with C language. It is known as high level language since it uses some English characters also. Normally we will make a difference. We will just discuss some difference between high level and low level language. I would say C is the middle level programming language. Now what is the difference, that we will see later. And one more important point to note here, C language is much closer to assembly language because completely it is written using assembly language. Okay, and majority of the other higher languages also, it is close to assembly and it is close to higher level languages also. So I can say that it is a middle level programming language. Actually an assembly language was a program written for a type of operating systems which cannot run on other operating systems. So using assembly, C language was completely developed, so it is closer to assembly language as well as it is closer to high level language also. Now what are the features of C? There are so many features of C. Operating system portability, high efficient objective code, support of structured programming. Larger programs can be written using C language. Lots of features are there. The most important feature is it is very easy to learn. It is simply as easy as we learn the English language. See how we learn the English language. We learn English language by first learning alphabets. Okay. To learn English language, what do? We first learn the alphabets. Okay, A, B, C, D, whatever. After learning alphabet, okay, we learned how to create words. We still remember A for apple. After learning words, after creating words, okay, we are now able to create sentences. After learning few grammatical aspects, using those words, we created sentence, and that's all. We are now using this language. That's now we are using this language to speak, to communicate. Okay, this is how we learn the English language. Now how to learn C language? As easy as learning English language. Here also we first learn what are the alphabets we use. Mostly we use all alphabets, capital A to Z, small a to Z. We use different types of digits. We use different types of symbols. Each symbol have some different purpose. Alright. And with the use of these alphabets, digits and symbols, we create some keywords. Okay, we create some keywords. Okay, we create some constants. Okay, we use some variables. We use some tokens. Okay, with the use of alphabet, digit and symbol, some keywords are created, some constants are created, some variables are created, and the group of keywords, using the constants, using the variables, using so many different types of tokens, we create some statements. For example, here I am going to write one statement, printf hello world. This is one kind of statement we use frequently in C language, and this statement is made up of some tokens, some identifiers, some keywords, maybe of some constants. So these kind of statements we write, and these statements are also called as instructions. These statements are also called as instructions, and a set of such kind of instructions, is itself called as a program. That's all. Okay, what do we discussed here? What is a program? Okay, what do we discussed here? What is a program? We know that program is nothing but it is a set of instructions. Here you can see program is nothing but it is a set of instruction. And how we write the set of instruction? Using some keywords, constants, tokens. We write set of statements, and these statements are also called as instructions. And that group of instructions becomes a program. That's all. So learning C is a very simple. Okay, you can compare it to a language you already know. Okay, you can compare it to the language English you already know. Okay, and the other features are operating system portability. We can write a C program in an operating system, and this program can be carried out in another operating system. It is highly efficient. We can write lengthy code, complex programs. Okay, and this is a computer programming language code which helps to execute our program quickly. It supports structured programming. C language has a standard programming format, and each program must have the main function and other attributes, and which makes the program more structured. And as it is a structured programming language, it is possible to write complex program. It is possible to write larger and lengthy programs. Okay. Next point is standard function libraries. The C language is entirely integrated with so many different types of functions which are stored in some libraries. We call them header files. We will talk about all header files later, but C provides a standard set of function libraries. Ease of access of hardware to features. C language supports writing programs to affect the hardware, such as memory management, process scheduling. So many features are there regarding C language, which makes this C language having major impact on programming world. Now, what are the hardware and software requirements? To write, compile and run C and C++ program, we need some editors like Borland C++, Turbo C++ IDE. There are so many editors. We have to use some kind of editors. Okay, and to run the C program, we need at least 8 MB RAM, at least Intel 386 computer with 10 to 20 megahertz speed, and minimum 100 MB hard drive. What is sufficient? Okay, for better hardware requirement, we can have the more memory, okay, more processor and higher speed, and also some good capacity of hard disk. What are the software requirements? First thing, we need operating system. On any operating system, we can write C program. Generally, Borland C++ 4.5 and Turbo C++ IDE can be used under Microsoft Disk Operating System or Microsoft Windows Operating System, and we can use the Windows Operating System or any operating system with some editors to develop C and C++ program. Of course, along with operating system, we need Borland C++ 4.5 or C++ IDE as an editor or screen editor for writing C and C++ program. Now, how C program works? Another very important point here, we have to understand how C program works. Now, first thing is here, we have to write the program in a form of a source file. Here we have to write something like hash include so and so. We have to write something called as hash include stdio.h, something called as void main. Okay, we have to write a program first in a file using some screen editor. This is the first step. What is the first step here? The first step here is write the program in a file using some screen editors. Screen editors or text editors like Notepad also we can write. Okay, using Turbo C++, using Borland C++ IDE, we can write a program in a form of a file, and this form of the file is called as a source file. This form of the file is called as a source file or source code and must be stored with the .c extension. Okay, must be saved with .c extension. So all the C files must be stored with the .c extensions. This is important. So first step is to write the program in a form of a source file. save this file using .c extension. Okay, but now when I write such kind of program in a file, this program cannot be executed directly, this code cannot be executed directly. So there is one more program, called as compiler, which converts this source code into another code. Okay, the second step is, firstly the program is written in a form of a source file. Okay, the second step is, the program is passed to, program means the source file. Okay, the source code is passed to compiler. The source code is passed to compiler, and compiler creates one more file. Compiler creates object file or object code. Okay, compiler creates object file or object code. Now what is object file or object code? We will see. I'll just put it here. So first step is to write the program in a file. Second step is to pass that file to a compiler, and what compiler will do? Compiler will create another file containing the machine code translation. Compiler will create another file containing the machine code translation of the source text. One more file is created here, and this file is called as object file, or we can say object code, and this file is stored with the extension .obj. So one file is created here, one more file is created here with the name .obj, and who creates this file? Compiler creates this file. While compiler creates this file, it also includes the contents of header files. It also includes the contents of header files into the object code, and this object code would contain the machine readable code of the source text. And after that the memory will be loaded. After that the program is loaded into the memory. Okay, the next step is the program is loaded into the memory. The program will be loaded into the memory. There will be a process, memory process, and after that your program will execute, and then the program will get executed. Now this is how the program works. This is how the C program works. Here the program starts execution. Now how the program starts execution? By calling another file called as abc.exe. One more file is created here, abc.exe, and this file is invoked, this file is executed. This file actually executes all the statements written inside the source code. So this is how the program works. Firstly the program is written in the form of a number of text files. These files are called as source files or source program, and we know it is not possible to execute this file directly because this file contains the source code. This file contains the high level code. Secondly, the completed source file is passed to a compiler, and compiler actually is a program which generates a new file containing a machine code translation of the source text, and this form of the file is called as object file or object code. So basically there are 4 steps. Number 1, create the program. Number 2, compile the program. Number 3, execute the program, run the program, and get the output. So if you want to create, compile, execute C programs by your own, you have to install C compiler first on your machine. Then you can start to execute your own C programs in your machine. And once a C compiler is installed, you can write the code, compile the code, execute the code, and just get the output. So these are the steps to write the program and to understand how the program works. Now what is the basic structure of program? Actually a C program would contain document section, link section, definition section, global declaration section, function prototype declaration section, main function, any user defined function, okay, whatever. So structure of program is defined by a set of rules called as protocol to be followed by a programmer while writing a C program. And all C programs are having sections, parts which are mentioned below. So every C program contains documentation part. Okay, every C program contains some link section. Every C program contain some definition section. Okay, it may contain some main function, some global declaration, so many things are there. It contains some user defined functions also. So this is what is the structure of C program. Now, how to write first program? Okay, more 10 minutes we are going to talk. How to write the first program, how to compile, and how to get the output. We will see. So we are going to see first program, hello world. Now where we write the program, we have to open Turbo C application. So here Turbo C application is already installed here. Okay, so I open here Turbo C application. This is Turbo C++ IDE. Okay, a program or editor for writing our C program. So first I write something called as hash include conio.h, hash include stdio.h, void main. Now we will see what is hash include, what is conio.h, everything we will see. Right now I am just writing my first program. We will see each and every step, okay, written here. Each and every instruction which I am writing here, we will see in detail. So this is simply my first program having some instruction. After writing this first program, I have to first save this file. Go to file menu, save option, and we have to save this file on C drive. Okay, with some name cprg1.c. See, I am saving this file on C drive. I will show you this. Just open Explorer. Go to C drive. You will see here I have created one source file. Name of that file is cprg1.c. This is a C source file. This is a C source file. Now after writing my first program, after writing the program, we have to compile this program. And to compile this program, go to compile menu and select the compile option. Now whenever we compile the program, what happens? Whenever we compile the program, another file will be created containing the machine readable code along with the header file definitions. Okay, and this obj file, this object file will be stored in a folder called as TC. TC means Turbo C folder. This is the installation directory of Turbo C. There we have another folder called as bin folder, and in this bin folder the object file will be stored. Now go to compile menu, click on compile. You can see here one more file will be created, as here one more file appears, cprg1. And what is the type of this file now? Obj file. This is a obj file, object file is created. The second step is over. Now after compilation we can run the program, and when I run the program, what happens actually? Here when I run the program, one more file will be created here. One more file will be created, and the name of the file is cprg1, and it is the application file, means exe file, the third part. The executable file is created, and that file is invoked for executing the statements, and whatever the program has number of statements, this program will execute the statements. Right now we see this text hello world. Right now we see this text hello world on my console application screen. That means we are just printing some information for demo. And this is about the first session. In the first session we discussed what is C program, how to write C program, what is the history of C. Okay, we discussed the introduction to C language, why programming, types of programming, two types of programming I told you, system programming and application programming. We discussed the job roles, employment opportunities. We discussed the benefits or the applications of C, what types of applications we can develop using C language. We developed the history of C, how C was derived, and when it is created in 1972, Dennis Ritchie developed a C language at AT&T's Bell Laboratories. We discussed the history points, what is C actually, okay, what are the features of C, and then we discussed the hardware software requirements, and along with we have discussed a very important topic, how C program works. Steps to write C programs, structure of C program, and of course we did our first program today using Turbo C++ IDE. So this is the session number 1. Okay, thank you for listening. Here I will stop today's session.